Hey there, it's Melissa Brunetti, and welcome to the Mind Your Own Karma podcast.
Hey there, Karma Crew. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Mind Your Own Karma, the Adoption Chronicles. I'm Melissa Brunetti, your host. Today's episode is deeply personal for me. It's one of the main reasons I started this podcast before I even started talking about adoption. I wanted to explore the feeling of being stuck and how it can paralyze us. Whether you're an adoptee, a birth parent, or an adoptive parent, we've all faced moments where we feel trapped, like we're floating without direction. But here's the good news. You can take back that control. First, let me ask, did you make a New Year's resolution for 2024 or set a goal for the year? And if you did you achieve it? And if not, what held you back from achieving it? Now, what I'm about to say is my opinion, but as they say, if the shoe fits. Okay, so here goes. Often the reasons that we feel stuck aren't reasons at all, they're excuses. Money, education, fear of change, fear of failure, or just feeling like we don't have the right resources. And do any of those sound familiar to you? These feelings are super common, but for those of us touched by adoption, they can run even deeper than a non-adoptee. They can be tied to identity loss, unworthiness, and not feeling like we belong anywhere. I want to share a story about a time I felt deeply stuck, and you may have heard it before. I was in a really long marriage, and when it began, I was about 19 with super low self-esteem. At the time, I believed that this relationship was the best I could do. And it wasn't because he was a bad person, but because I didn't believe I deserved more. For adoptees or anyone in the triad, this might resonate with you. The stories that we tell ourselves about being unwanted, unworthy, unlovable, all those things can shape our choices in profound ways. And I made a choice I knew wasn't right, but I ignored the red flags. Why? Because I was afraid of being rejected again, and I wanted to be picked. I wanted to be wanted. So fast forward 20 years, I was super unhappy, very depressed, and filled with anxiety, things I had never, ever struggled with before. But I felt stuck. My life was so intertwined with his, finances, children, a house, a shared community. The idea of walking away seemed unbelievably impossible. I also worried about judgment. Would people think I was selfish, irresponsible, a failure? Was I going through a midlife crisis? In the adoption community, we often carry the burden of societal expectations. Adoptees may feel pressure to be grateful for everything that we get. And these expectations can keep us stuck, afraid to disappoint others. That was me. Over time, I realized that I couldn't stay stuck anymore. It was as if I was floating in the ocean far from shore. I could barely see the land. And my sense of self was the shore. But I knew if I didn't start swimming back to it right now, I'd lose myself completely and maybe even forever. For adoptees, that shore might be your true identity. For birth parents, it might be healing from the grief of giving up a child. For adoptive parents, it might be recognizing and addressing the challenges adoption brings to your family. Whatever it is, the first step is admitting that something needs to change. For me, the universe eventually pushed me off a cliff. I hit rock bottom mentally and physically, and I cried out for help. And while the answers weren't immediate, I have to tell you, I eventually realized something really important. I needed to stop looking outward for validation. As adoptees, we sometimes let others' opinions define us, but we don't need anyone's permission to take our control back for our own lives. It's up to us to find happiness, even if that means pruning the branches in our lives that no longer bear fruit. I share this story because I want you to know that it's okay to let go. Let go of relationships, let go of expectations or self-limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. And that doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're growing up. If you're feeling stuck, ask yourself this: what story am I telling myself that's keeping me here? And what small step can I take to move forward? Remember, you don't have to see the whole path. You just have to take the first step. Starting this podcast was a huge leap of faith, but it wasn't fear that held me back. It was excitement. Why? Because I didn't tie any expectations to it. I wasn't worried about downloads or listeners. And honestly, if my mom had been my only listener, that would have been okay. This podcast was something I felt called to do, and that's where the joy came in. Without expectations, without fear, without loss. When you're doing something aligned with your purpose, what is there to fear? It's not about a win or a loss outcome. It's about growth and self-expression. And when you're in flow, only good things can come because you're in alignment with yourself and the universe. Here's the thing. We get to decide how we label things. Everything is about perspective. Labels define our truth. So if you call something bad, that becomes your reality. Take the holidays, for example. Some people dread the endless to-do lists and the gift shopping. But what if you reframed it? What if you reframed it to you get to give gifts to people you love? Some people don't have anyone to buy for, and that can be heartbreaking. Feeling overwhelmed? Maybe it's time to cut back on the list. Only give when it feels right and when it aligns with you. This concept applies to everything in life. When you say, I can't because of XYZ, you're already deciding the outcome. The abundance is there. It's there waiting for you to take it. But fears and stories that we tell ourselves, whether ones you've created or ones others have placed on you, block that abundance. Fear isn't the enemy. It can be a signal for growth. When I started this podcast, sure, there was a lot of uncertainty, but I reframed that fear into excitement. Something good was coming. I didn't know what, but I trusted it. And that shift in mindset made all the difference. Let me share a funny story to illustrate this. I recently joined a Zoom call with a group of podcasters, and I was late, frazzled, makeup free, and sweats. Definitely not feeling or looking my best. And then to top it off, my screen showed me upside down. And I panicked at first because I don't really know these girls. And I was thinking, what are they going to think? Should I leave? And then I decided to own it. And I just joked. And I said, this is how my week has felt. Totally upside down. And you know what? Nobody cared. If anything, I gave them a good laugh. And that experience reminded me of an important lesson. People aren't as focused on us as we think they are. I could have wasted my energy trying to fix it, but instead I just rolled with it. Why waste my precious energy on worrying about their opinions? So now this brings me to something that I do care about. Why do we treat hobbies or passions that we have as things we can only give away for free? Why can't they be our source of income? We've really been conditioned to think that work has to be a grind, but I believe that we're meant to love what we do. And if you don't, then you aren't doing the thing that you were brought here to do. And that's just a fact. That's why I've been working toward building my dream job as a Somatic Mindful Guided Imagery practitioner. I know the transformative power of this work, how it can help people heal and find alignment in their lives. And that's deeply fulfilling to me to help others reconnect with themselves on a soul deep level. This is the work that I love doing, that I've been brought here to do. And it doesn't feel like a job to me. It's my calling. And every time I help someone experience a breakthrough or find clarity, it reminds me why I'm pursuing this path. My goal is to make this my full-time reality, to spend my days doing what I love while helping others find their peace and purpose. And that's the life that I'm creating, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes me. I believe that we all deserve to live a life that feels aligned with our passions and purpose. For me, that's being a somatic mindful guided imagery practitioner. It's not just about making a living, it's about making a difference, helping others heal while staying true to myself. So if you've been holding back on pursuing your dream job or passion, take this as your sign. Life is too short to settle. Go after what sets your soul on fire. What are your gifts? What are you passionate about? That's where you're going to find the clues to doing something fulfilling. If you are feeling stuck or searching for the next step in your journey, somatic mindful guided imagery can be the key to unlocking what's holding you back. It's a gentle yet powerful approach to reconnect with your inner wisdom and align with your true self. So, as we explore how to follow our dreams on this show, I invite you to take the first step towards yours, adoptee. Whether it's pursuing a new passion, finding peace, or discovering your purpose, let's uncover the possibilities. Don't wait for New Year's and January 1st resolutions to start your transformation. You can learn more about somatic mindful guided imagery at my website, somatichealingjourneys.com. There is a ton of information there, and you can also book a free phone consultation with me where we can discuss your specific needs and explore how SMGI can help you. That's it for today, short and sweet, but seriously, what are you waiting for? Your dream life isn't going to come knocking on your door. Go out and get it. And if you feel that something's holding you back, get in touch with me and let's see what that is. What's keeping you from living a life that you love? Thanks for listening today, Karma Crew. And as always, take what you need and leave what you don't. And always remember to mind your own karma. I'll see you next time.